what's even more fascinating about the first base one is that it was created when the I don't want to censor the fucking page.
Yeah, it's just when the lockdown happened, just the global lockdown.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm saying that's gonna say whatever. Yeah,
I don't think
the lockdown happened around that time. This was like right before it happened, actually. And this was something that AZD predicted. And I was actually trying to find that video, but I can't find it. It was removed somewhere. But it was a video of him at his old house, his old condo in San Jose. And I remember he was sitting on this table with a Ouija board, had like a Ouija, what do you call it? Fucking like mat or a table cover or something. Uh-huh. And he was basically saying that this is about to happen. Like everything's about to shut down. I'm moving all my businesses online. And he just gave the whole prediction, and then it came true like 2 or 3 months later. And then that's when we all moved into base one. It was me, Chris, Fernando, and Demigod, who's not around anymore. We all moved into this house. And, AZD wasn't even going to live in that house in the beginning. He was like, I might live there, I might not live there. Like, you guys just get the house. If I like it, I'm going to live there. So, Yogi Chris is the only one that saw it in person, and we all put in our down payment or deposit, to hold the place. And then we go there and look at it with AZD. And then like last minute, he's like, you know what? I want it. I want to live here with you guys. So that was like the start. It wasn't even confirmed. We're just like, we're going to put all our money in and pool it together. And hopefully he lives there. If not, I guess we're just going to live there or whatever, figure it out after that. And it all happened like so quick. And, really the rest of it was history.
Yeah, I mean, it's the beginning of a whole era. I mean, imagine finding somebody on YouTube, like you guys, you're just finding on TikTok and you see these clips of somebody and you start following, maybe you buy a program, you watch, you learn, okay, you meet a few times in person, travel across the country to, visit, just like I've done with so many teachers. I went to the University of Oklahoma, that's across the country. I went to the University of Florida. I went to India. I went to Lake Tahoe. I went to all kinds of wrestling training camps far away in faraway lands. That's what you do. You go and find a teacher and you go and learn from them. And then if you become friends or you go into business together in some way, and then you start living with the guy, and the guy's already top in the world in what he does, and so you start taking on those qualities and you're around. But what we built the whole movement on was stoicism, because that's what allowed the tribe to grow strong individually, to have a personal process that you get stronger as a character. You can handle the stresses of life. Because what you find in this line of work is guys, they're trying to be players. They're trying to give themselves options with women. They're trying to have choice. They're trying to get better quality women. These are things that are just natural. Why should a man not try to do all of those things? But they're so weak. They're just, and there were more innovations. Live audience, some restricted. Why? Contains themes that may find uncomfortable. Who complained? What liberal woman on my TikTok stream just complained? You motherfucker.
You didn't say anything bad yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what could I have possibly said? Maybe it was lockdown. Maybe it was lockdown. But that's stupid.
That's so uncomfortable, bro.
That's ridiculous.
Don't talk about that anymore. That's super uncomfortable, bro.
Dang. Like, that because why that doesn't make sense is because that word is easily used somewhere else in other contexts. It has a meaning. Versus nobody's going to say COVID. Like, that only has one thing. Or, I'm like saying all the risky words now. Joe Biden. Illuminati. Pedogate or whatever. There. Now I'm about to get censored. There you go, Sultan. Now I'm getting censored. Because nobody in passing says Michael LaVon Robinson pedogate or whatever. But they might say lockdown, like you got to lock down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we use that in our own terminology. Lockdown is a stoic. So.
Well, it's so advanced now. It probably knows like the context. Like it's checking all the words that come after it in the context that it was said. And
truly, AI is getting incredible, and so we have to go meta with our intelligence and our ability to use technology, where we guide the AI. It's almost like you have a sheepdog, and you have to teach the sheepdog what to do. If you don't teach it, it's just rambunctious and destroying your property. But you teach it what to do, and then it goes and does the thing. But it's you got to go meta with it, where you extend your intelligence to another being to lead it to do something while you do something else. And it's kind of what every employer does, and what a man does in his relationship also. So, which, very, very similar analogy there. So the Stoicism helped us individually, helped the men get strong. They had an individual process. They learned the AZD system of personal development that he had worked with himself. And, we saw really big growth, personal growth in all of the guys that participated. And so it became known as the Beast process, is the Stoic process. And so that's even to this day, I'm administering the Beast process to people. And
got the logo right here.
yeah, logo right there. It's also a logo right there.
Nice, yeah.
So, yeah, 3693. So it's been so important, especially coming to Vegas, because there's so many stressors in Vegas. And the way we live it, we live extremely disciplined, but a player's life. So we're out, we're in loud environments, we're around toxic situations, but
Toxic people,
toxic conversation, toxic environments, toxic. And but the discipline allows us to process that toxicity because there's so many rich experiences here and there's so much opportunity here. And we're just pushing hard. We're like pro athletes at this thing. And stoicism and the beast process that was developed from that has allowed us to keep up with it. It would be like if you put a powerful rocket engine at the back of a car. You might be able to propel that car forward at 600 miles an hour, but it's going to rip apart. The wind is going to tear it apart. You have to have the structure. So people come to Vegas, and that's like putting a rocket engine on their vehicle, on their life. And they can't handle the intensity of it. That's why they go back drained and destroyed, or they can't last here, they burn out or whatever. We have designed our vehicle, our body, our mind, our habits to withstand the intensity of going through a Jupiter's atmosphere upon re-entry. Like, we can handle the stressors of this lifestyle, and so we actually grow much faster than others who either have to avoid the lifestyle because they can't handle the intensity of it, or they just get swept up in it and become, just the bacteria in the river. They're not going against the current at all. They're not blazing their own way. They're just going with the flow, which is fine. It's just when you go with the flow, then you go wherever they herd sheep. That's also going with the flow. You go where they herd the cattle. That's going with the flow. That's a good analogy, actually. Next time some motherfucking, usually female, says going with the flow, be like, you mean like a sheep? Like a cow? I don't know about you, but I grew up on a farm, and you had to steer the cows into the pen to, check if they're pregnant. That's fun. Or, brand their ears or shave their horns. That's fun. They went with the flow. I don't know. That's just what comes to mind when you say that. Is that what you mean when you say go with the flow? You have your hand up?
Yeah.
What?
Well, it's stupid. I was gonna ask if you knew that when cows crossing the street that they jump over the white line in the road because they think it's in the air because their depth perception is 2D. And I just watched this video of like 10 cows crossing the street and they all hopped. And some of them like paused to look at the white stripe, like the literal, like lines in the road. And
Yeah.
they all jumped over.
I'd have to see multiple videos of it as a scientist because cows have sheep mentality. So if the first cow decided to hop over the white line, I could see all the other cows doing it. Once the second one does it, the third one does it, the fourth one does it, they're all gonna, whoa! And that's why some looked more like, should I really do this? All right, well they did it, and that's a sheep mentality. And versus if you show me multiple videos of cows across the world doing that, fuck, cows do that. That's fucking weird. How can we harness that ability for humanity? Maybe, I don't know, somehow like, maybe they float across the traffic when there's the crosswalk and they can't step on the white and they're just like, and then you see the cow's ability, it can fly like a reindeer. No, I don't know, because it doesn't step on white. What happens if the road is white? Do they walk on sidewalks?
No, it's the line effect that it looks like a white line.
Okay. All right.
Think
We'll have to
it's-
figure this one
Yeah,
out because
I'm
I'm sure
gonna
there's
look
some
that deeper.
utility here for humanity. I don't know it yet, but there's a reason. God didn't make a mistake there. Unless he did. Maybe it was just to show us that the animals can be dumb too. Okay. So, and that's what men are. Men are in the world. They're doing things not conscious of it because they have minimal perception of what's happening. And so they hop over opportunities and skip over situations and they fear things that they shouldn't be afraid. It's everybody. So it's a good analogy. Thank you for that great analogy. Stoicism. How important has it been? Has Stoicism come up for you recently? Or does Stoicism help you in your game or lifestyle, how we live it right now? Sultan?
Yeah, man. Stoicism, I found out about Stoicism through AZD. Like before I moved into base one, I had no idea what Stoicism was.
Yeah.
And that's partially the reason I got Memento Mori tattooed on my neck is because Man, I don't remember how long it was, but there was a long period of time, at least 2 or 3 months, consistently every single day where I would practice Memento Mori. And AZD had me do this thing where he was like, every time you practice Memento Mori, send me a text message. He's like, just text message, send me a text message of an emoji or a lion. I forgot what it was. I think it was lion, or I would send him Memento Mori. I would send him something. And I did this consistently. And then after that, at some point, it was like, all right, it's pretty obvious that I got the practice down. Like, I didn't text him anymore.
Yeah.
This is when I was living with him.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
after
still
that, I
living with him.
continuously did that. And I did it every single day because something would come up. And it was something like, it was when you have to face a hardship. It's not when you have to fucking like cook food and you don't want to cook it. Oh, Memento Mori. No, that's not Memento Mori. That's just you're fucking complaining, go cook. Or you don't want to do your laundry or something. It was like a real situation that you had to overcome. Then you'd use Memento Mori.
Yeah, so has this been relevant for you recently?
For sure. Consistently.
Yeah.
What can I name that I've used Memento Mori for recently?
Man, I use it every single night. Every single night.
I haven't used it every night, but the past few nights I've been using it because I've been the body's been physically just not there. It's like just it's like clunky because I'm
exactly. It charges you when you're drained like that. Memento Mori that you could die every night, at any moment. Every night when I go out, I'm going to battle, and I could literally die. Yeah. It's literally dangerous out there. Literally, there's targets on our back. Literally. And tomorrow's never promised. It could be something stupid like a fucking tire explodes on the fucking road, of course. But then we're going to battle, and we're in the midst of good and evil. And it's no less serious than that with the stakes that we're playing with. Like, we're playing with fire. We're dealing with the top clubs. We're dealing with mobsters that are affiliated with these clubs. Like, we're dealing with a lot of extensions and connections and things that, we're on the radar. Cameras turn their heads for us. We've been banned from venues. Like, it's no
fucking
it's no joke. No, we don't need to name anything, but but we're also invited other places. Like, it polarizes the audience. And... Yeah. Literally every night when I go out, I'm walking out thinking that this could be the end. And I'm not going to be caught with my pants down. I'm not going to be goofing around, joking around. But at the same time, we're players. So that's very interesting. It's a very interesting quality of the IMC game mindset is that it's the most serious thing, and yet you can't be serious. Yeah. Like, our time together is the most serious thing, but yet I can't be serious about it. Like, and so, literally, when I walk out of that door, and my girl is here watching me tap in, and she's going through the process with me because she has her own process. I'm sure she's developed some sort of process for dealing with my process. And, the more you can do that and ritualize that, because I'm going to war. And when I walk out of that door, I remember the first time that I told her that, and she literally bowed on the ground with hands in prayer, like I was a fucking Christian crusader with my armor on, about to go join the troops and leave for a 6-month fucking excursion to go to battle. You know what I mean? What are you going to say when somebody goes and does that? Love you. Bye. Have fun. See, that language pulls that universe down to kiddie play. Versus the universe I'm dealing with. Well, that's too serious. Well, I mean, you keep living. I'm not saying you. I'm saying you. Other people that might say that's so serious. Live in your reality, cause and effect. You won't necessarily notice the difference tonight or maybe even tomorrow night, but give it 10 years. I'm living a different experience. And every great book says, I'm reading Master Key System now. It says over and over again, your character is what attracts your future.
Yeah.
So... Memento Mori, and that's just my application of Memento Mori. You know what I mean? Oh, that's how the guy, Andrew Carraway, asked, how does one practice Memento Mori? Yeah, you could die. So if you could die, then, maybe you wouldn't complain as much about things if you knew that you were about to die or... it's just recognizing death. There's ways of putting it, and that's the teachings. That's when you get into the classes, because there's ways of saying things that make it more obvious to you. But you could die at any moment. You could die on a heart attack. You could die, on the road. You could die a disgruntled ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, something. Who knows what it could be? Tomorrow's not promised. And, really face that. Envision that possibility. that it could end. What if it was done? What if? And you make a practice of that, and you start to get familiar with the fact that you're really taking it for granted. You're taking life for granted. You know what I'm saying? And so there's 1,000 ways of applying it, 1,000,000 trillion ways of applying that in so many situations. And like 45, Sultan was saying, being reminded of that, because we lose perspective, and that's what it is. Like, the philosophy is some truth that's supposed to cut through all the bullshit, because we've agreed on so many different levels in so many different aspects of life to a bunch of bullshit that we're now caught up in it, and we don't see the forest for the trees. We're like staring a bunch of trees right in the face, and we lost the forest. And so Memento Mori pulls you out, and so you see the forest. Oh, it's a forest. Anyway, brother, I didn't mean to steal the mic on that.
No, it's all good. No, it's great. And sometimes that's not going to work. Like, because there's guys who are going to watch this, I think, and they're going to be like, well, I'm just going to go practice Memento Mori, and then everything's going to be okay. Like, it's not good. Like, there's going to be times for me where Memento Mori does not work. And then I have other things in place. That's what the process, so much of the process was, or has been for me, is different ways to get out of whatever, because when your body is sick, you're not going to want to do a lot of shit. You're not going to want to go out, like...
You're not going to want to stream.
Go out. You're not gonna, but you don't want to stream. You're not going to want to go out. You're not going to want to talk to people when you're out. So, it's overcoming that, and sometimes Memento Mori is not going to work. So I found many other ways to get out of that like, hole or whatever that you're in when you feel sick, for example. And that's been thanks to the process, or the AZD process.
Totally.
Peace process, whatever. Different.
Oh, man, that would have been great to talk about. This guy was going on an ayahuasca trip, and then I was telling him, I was like, you don't need to go on an ayahuasca trip. You need to just you just need a process. We were in meeting when I sent that message to the guy.
Was that Victor?
Yeah. And I was keeping it anonymous, but you just blasted out. Okay.
Yeah, but there's 100 Victors.
Oh, okay. And he sent me a very sincere thank you after that. He's like, you know what? You're right. Like, you really got me back in touch with that. Like, man, you're right. You're right. It was just like a whole bunch of you're right. It was like a minute and a half of you're right. So, but that's a whole other story. So we're going to end it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And we'll hit it up next week. Maybe try an earlier time, or we'll try 5 p.m. again.
Right on.
Right on. Everybody salute. Make sure you join our Telegram group. It's in the bio. Both of us have our Telegram groups in the bio. That's where we post links and private content. Don't waste time. Just go check out the bio right now. Join our Telegram.
That's weird. I can't see Andrew's comments. That's so strange.
It may have something. I don't know if there's a setting for this, but it seems like it may have something to do with like whose IG they joined from. Although that seems very inconvenient for when you have a stream. Like, if you have hundreds of people on, you should be able to read all the comments. It may also be that the person had blocked you, but is joining my stream. So.
Oh, Andrew, you blocked me, bro? What the
heck?
I don't know. I'm scared.
I left and rejoined. Maybe that's why. He says I left and rejoined. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. I know he didn't block me. He just got the Beast Phase 1 first camp for that.
There we go. Man, that's really going around. That's a really good thing for everybody to have. That's the foundation. That's the self-discipline. That's ethics on the first dynamic. What are you doing?
Oh, I was looking for the weed pen.
You're not allowed to say weed pen.
Well, I got scared because I was like, if I go in any other direction, I would be lying, and two, just don't lie.
Don't lie. The fear of retribution making your woman righteous. That's all that's needed. She just needs to absolutely fear hellfire and basically an asteroid coming down on her head. And then she'll tell the truth. But if anything less than that, she'll find a way out of it. She'll find, as if it was so dangerous in the first place to ask, do you have a weed pen? Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Beast Process, everybody. Telegram group in the bio. I'll see you guys on the next stream. Os.
That's almost how the sky looks here.